The New York Knicks are making some serious changes right now, and let me tell you, fans have been waiting for this moment for months. Ever since Mike Brown was hired as head coach, there's been a ton of speculation about what kind of changes he's going to implement compared to Tom Thibodeau's tenure. And today, after watching this segment on Sportcenter, it really hit me how significant these moves are. The analysts laid it all out, breaking down the strategy, the lineups, and even the rotations that Mike Brown is planning. Honestly, if you're a Knicks fan, this is both exciting and, to be fair, a little nerve-wracking. There's so much anticipation for what this new-look team is going to look like on the floor. First off, let's talk lineups. Brown is making it clear that he's moving away from Thibodeau's traditional 8-man rotation. He wants a rotation of 9 or 10 players, which gives him flexibility, but also adds a layer of unpredictability. And the starting lineup? He hasn't even settled on that yet. But the leaks, the insider information, they've gotten out, and fans are buzzing. Last year, the starting 5 of Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns looked promising at first, but struggled as the season progressed. By January 1st, 2025, that starting 5 had a net rating of -1.4. And during the playoff run, in the first 13 games of their 17-game journey, they were outscored by a total of 50 points. So, it's no wonder there's pressure for a change. Sportcenter really highlighted this contrast, showing how the team had flashes of brilliance but lacked consistency. Former coach Thibodeau did make adjustments mid-playoffs, like inserting Mitchell Robinson into the starting lineup and moving Josh Hart to the bench, which worked at the time. But Mike Brown isn't afraid to experiment. He's looking at efficiency, chemistry, and creating lineups that give the Knicks the best shot to dominate offensively. One lineup the analysts focused on, Brunson, Deuce McBride, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Karl Anthony Towns, may be undersized, yes, but it's efficient. According to data from Data Baller, it posted a net rating of +2.1, better than last season's starting 5, and even better than the final 4 games against the Indiana Pacers. Sure, there are concerns about rebounding outside of Towns, and OG Anunoby is an underrated presence there, but overall, the offensive potential is exciting. Sportcenter made it clear, Mike Brown has a history of rotating lineups strategically. Remember Sacramento? He started Fox, Malik Monk, Harrison Barnes, Keegan Murray, and Deonte Sabonis. Sabonis provided a dominant rebounding presence, while others contributed in ways that created one of the most efficient offenses in NBA history at the time. Comparing that to the Knicks, we can see why Brown is comfortable experimenting here. It's about finding the right balance, creating flexibility, and giving his players opportunities to maximize their talents. And it's exciting to watch because it shows a willingness to adapt and think ahead. Now, Knicks fans, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Seriously, if you want daily updates on what's happening with the team, the rotations, Mike Brown's moves, and all the inside details, subscribing to Knicks Digest is the best way to make sure you never miss a beat. Training camp is underway, things are moving fast, and there's a lot of breaking news that you want to be in on from day one. But back to what Sportcenter was emphasizing. These changes aren't just cosmetic. They reflect a broader vision. Brown is committed to offensive efficiency, player development, and maximizing every rotation minute. The league is competitive, and the Knicks need to be smart about matchup, pacing, and execution. Fans are right to be excited. But they should also temper that with patience, because these rotations will need time to gel. There will be mistakes, there will be adjustment, but the foundation Brown is laying is solid, and if executed well, it could lead to some of the most dynamic basketball the Knicks have played in years. And that's what I want everyone to take away from this. Watching Sportcenter today made me appreciate how calculated these moves are. It's about creating a team that's adaptable, resilient, and efficient. It's about maximizing strengths while covering weaknesses, and it's about finally seeing a coaching staff willing to experiment to get the best possible results. Knicks fans, buckle up, because this season is going to be a wild ride. And if you want to stay informed every step of the way, hit that subscribe button now, because Knicks Digest has you covered. Alright, so picking up from where we left off, the Knicks' rebounding situation is actually better than some people think. OG Anunoby, again, is an underrated rebounder who can bang down low with the best of them, and that makes a big difference when you consider the Knicks' overall lineup balance. So, yes, outside of Karl-Anthony Towns, the Knicks might look a little undersized, but the fundamentals are solid, and the rebounding shouldn't be as big of a concern as some might assume. Now, here's where things get really interesting. During training camp, which is typically pretty locked down, some rare images surfaced showing Mitchell Robinson running with the starters. The Knicks have this system in practice where starters wear blue, bench players wear gray, and the reserves wear a kind of maroonish-orange color. From what we could see, Tyler Kolich and Landry Shamet were wearing the reserve color. Malcolm Brogdon was in gray, but Mitchell Robinson was clearly integrated with the starters. This isn't just speculation. Sportcenter highlighted this in their segment, pointing out that Mike Brown seems committed to putting Robinson in the starting lineup. And honestly, that's something Knicks fans, myself included, have been begging for. Now, it's important to note that this decision comes with challenges. The Knicks don't have a ton of backup big men. Gersenol, while talented, is undersized for the 5, really more of a 4. And Ariel Hookport, while promising, is still unproven. That means starting Robinson creates a shorter bench, which forces the coaching staff to stagger minutes with Towns carefully. But if you look at the bigger picture, multiple coaches across the league have found success with a dominant defensive big man next to a versatile 4. Minnesota had a similar situation with Karl-Anthony Towns at the 4 and Rudy Gobert at the 5. And when they played together, that lineup thrived offensively and defensively. So strategically, this move makes sense. Then there's Josh Hart. He's dealing with a finger injury, and that adds a layer of complexity. He said he's going to play through it, maybe wear a splint, and adapt, but there's no denying it could impact his shooting, particularly from 3. Hart's already a guy who sometimes hesitates on threes, and now, with a finger splint, that hesitation could be amplified. That's one more reason why putting Hart on the bench unit might be the smartest move. He can play in situations that maximize his strengths while minimizing risks. On the bench, he pairs with guys like Malcolm Brogdon and Jordan Clarkson, both excellent creators, which allows the team to maintain spacing and offensive flow. This also opens the door for someone like Deuce McBride to start. From everything we've seen and discussed, he could be the right choice for the starting lineup. And don't forget about Guerschon Yabusele. Sportcenter really highlighted his efficiency last year: 11 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 2 assists, 50% shooting from the field, 38% from 3, and an impressive 36% from above-the-break threes, better than Steph Curry in that context. Yabusele's versatility, shooting, and physicality make him a serious asset in an offensively focused Knicks team, especially when you consider the spacing needs around Bridges, OG, and the other starters. So, what this all tells us is that Mike Brown is thinking several moves ahead. He's experimenting with lineup, testing rotations, and finding the balance between size, spacing, and efficiency. It's not just about filling spots. It's about creating a team that can execute offensively and defensively while maximizing talent. And the analysts on Sportcenter really drove this point home. We're seeing a calculated approach that might take time to fully materialize, but the foundation is being laid right now in training camp. If you're watching all this and you haven't yet, seriously, hit that subscribe button for Knicks Digest. Training camp updates, lineup experiments, player insights. You don't want to miss a single detail this season. The Knicks are evolving, and staying informed will give you the full picture as we watch how this new-look team develop. Alright, so wrapping this up, the defensive side of things is really interesting with these potential lineup. If you start Deuce McBride alongside OG Anunoby, you immediately have elite perimeter defenders out there. Now, sure, Karl-Anthony Towns isn't exactly a rim protector, and Jalen Brunson isn't known for his defense, but when you consider the individual defensive abilities across the board, you still get a very solid defensive unit. Sportcenter highlighted this as well, noting that Mike Brown has the tools and the coaching experience to find a system that maximizes these defenders' strengths. He's been a good defensive coach historically, but he also leans into offense after his years with the Warriors, which makes sense given the modern NBA's offensive emphasis. So, balancing offensive efficiency with solid team defense is really going to be his challenge. Now, let's talk about the starting lineup, because this is where things get really exciting and honestly, a little unpredictable. At this point, it could be a number of combinations. Sportcenter analysts brought up multiple scenarios. Some people want to see Jordan Clarkson starting, others think Josh Hart or Mitchell Robinson should get more minutes, and don't forget about Gershon Yabusele and Deuce McBride, who have been making strong cases in training camp. So, while we know the top 4 core players, Brunson, Bridges, OG, and Towns, the 5th spot really could be anyone. That's going to be a fascinating story to follow, especially as Mike Brown experiments during the preseason and early regular season. Offensively, there's so much upside. The spacing is getting better with these lineups, and having sharpshooters like Yabusele spreading the floor above the break gives Towns and Bridges more room to operate in the paint and mid-range. And defensively, while they might be a little undersized in certain matchups, the collective athleticism and high IQ of this unit should allow them to switch, rotate, and disrupt opposing offenses effectively. Sportcenter made a big point of noting that this Knicks team, while offensively focused, has defensive potential if Mike Brown can find the right rotation and trust the right players in the right moment. Honestly, this is what makes the next few weeks so exciting. Training camp is the testing ground, and every practice, every scrimmage, is a clue as to how this team will look when the season actually starts. The analysts kept emphasizing that fans should pay close attention to minute distributions, lineup combinations, and how Mike Brown adapts to injuries or in-game challenges. This is a Knicks team in transition, but one with serious potential, and the right starting 5 could make a huge difference in how the season unfolds. So, Knicks fans, this is your chance to weigh in. Who do you want to see starting? Who should get those critical minutes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because, honestly, there are a ton of possibilities, and this is going to be a conversation that lasts well into the season. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and stay locked in to Knicks Digest, because we're going to be bringing you every update, every lineup tweak, every insight on this evolving team. This is one of the most intriguing periods for the Knicks in years. With Mike Brown at the helm, the roster shaping up, and training camp in full swing, there's a real sense that this team could take a big step forward. But it's all about execution, rotation management, and maximizing the talent they have. Stick around, stay engaged, and we'll be breaking down every development as it happens. For now, that's all from me. Catch you later, Knicks fans.